What's going on, y'all? I'm back. It is Live Dogs MMA. Want to apologize for missing the last card. As you can see, I was in a motorbike accident. We've got a hematoma here with some stitches. It's come down some. The eyes black, a little swollen. Had to have clavicle surgery. We broke the collarbone in 3 places. We also fractured 4 ribs. Got a lot of staples and cuts and stuff on the head and stitches and things like that. Might have had a beer, might have had 2. Either way, I'm on a motorbike, an e-bike, and lost control. Bam, concussion, knocked out, end up in the hospital. So, unfortunately, I did get to watch the fights, but I wasn't able to break them down for you guys. Not in the best shape. I've only got a few loyal followers on here and YouTube, and so I'm sure I wasn't missed that much. Plus, I gave you guys the Robert Whittaker pick, which in hindsight was pretty bad. But I did pick Ilia Topuria, and I did pick him by knockout, so proud of that. But enough about those fights. We're on to the next one. So let's bust it wide open. The first fight is going to be Jamie Lynn Horth versus what is her first name? Petrovic. Petrovic versus Horth. I think Petrovic is a little underwhelming. I think Horth will be able to smother her, take her down at will, keep the pressure, and probably get a submission here. So Horth by submission is live. It's like plus 600. Worth the squeeze. If not, decision all the way. So I'm going to go with Horth. Then we have we have Chad Engheller versus Cody Gibson. I'm going to go with Cody Gibson. I think he's bigger. I think he's longer. You never know what Cody Gibson you're going to get, which is a problem. But I think whoever we get is enough to beat a guy like Chad Engheller. I really don't like Chad Enghiller's I'm just going to call him Chad. I can't say that name. Chad has short arms, and I don't like his striking. I think Cody can win here. So Cody, and I'm confident in that. Then we have Garrett Armfield versus Sydney Sighay, whatever you say his name is. He's a Canadian guy. Good striking, pretty well rounded, but I don't think he's a world beater. And how tough is he really? You know, I believe he lost every bit of that Ramon Tavares fight, and he went for some takedowns since he's been in the UFC, and he's missed more than he's gotten. Armfield is susceptible to the submission, but is this the submission guy who's going to get him? Well, we said that about David Onama, but David Onama's strong, man, and he's big. And I just think he kind of got that out of nowhere, right? So, as tough as this is, I'm perfectly cool if you take the newcomer here, Sydney Sighay. But I am going to ride with Armfield. Armfield's, it's Florida man versus soy Canadian. I'm going with the Florida man, so underdog for me, it's going to be Armfield. And then we have Romanov versus Nascimento. I was on Nascimento. I'm like, yeah, Romanov, he's really fallen off. Kind of sucks now. But even a shitty Romanov should be able to beat a guy like Nascimento. He's been taken down by Derek Lewis. Or was that the guy that he flying kneed? Either way, man, he equally sucks, right? And on top of that, he got knocked out by Chris Dawkins. So it's like, I just can't trust him here. I'm going to take Romanov. I think he's a little bit of a dog, but I wouldn't play this fight at all. And then we have Jack Shore versus Zalal. I want to say one thing. Jack Shore, this is a winnable fight for him. Don't count him out. That being said, I'm taking Yusuf Zalal. He looks like he's improved since he's come back into the UFC. His submission games are looking good. And I like him by submission. If I didn't say that earlier, I also like Jamie Lynn Horth by submission. It's like plus 600. Yusuf Zalal by submission right now is like plus 700. So jump on that. I think Zalal has this. Then we have Jourdain versus Henry. This should be way further up on the card. They're in Canada, for fuck's sakes. This is going to be fight of the night. It's going to be scrappy. It's going to be awesome. But the more well-rounded fighter with better cardio is going to be Jourdain. I'm taking Jourdain here. I believe he will win. And then we have Arlene. Is this Arlene Lipsky? Oh, she's so hot, right? But now that she's married, I don't even like her. So I'm going to take her to lose. Jasudavicius, smother her. Kind of like the Jamie Lynn Horth fight, but a little bit higher level, right? Jasudavicius, and I'm confident in that. And then we have Zahabi versus Munoz. We got Pedro Munoz. This is a close fight. I think Pedro Muniz is a little bit behind it now. He's kind of lost a step. I constantly count out Zahabi. I'm not going to do it here. I'm not mad at you if you have Munoz. I'm going to go with Zahabi. And then we have Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles. This seems like a winnable fight for Mike Malott. If it's not, don't ever bet on him again. We're done with this guy. He should be able to beat Trevin Giles. They fought in a grappling match before, and he beat Trevin Giles. So we know he can probably contend with him on the ground, or will contend with him on the ground. And I don't think Trevin Giles is KOing anybody. So, Mike Malott, unless he just gives up and it's some weird TKO, I think he does enough to get the win here. So we're going to go with Malott. And then we have Dustin Stoltzfus versus, what is his name? Barrio, the French guy. It's either going to be Dustin Stoltzfus in the first round. He's going to finish him. Or Barrio is going to do enough, use his better striking and his vet savviness to eke out a close decision and beat on Dustin Stoltzfus. Anyone you take here is good, but a solid bet here should not even be played. But I'm going to take Barriot. I think he's seen more. I think he's a better striker overall. He's not as explosive, so I do worry about the first round. But I think he's a safer pick. And then we have Kyle Machado versus, what is his name? Carlos? Is it Carlos Ribeiro? Bredson Ribeiro. You can tell how well I care about this fight, right? Why is this so high on the card? I don't know. Is it because they're big fat guys and what's his name lives in Canada? Maybe, right? But I'm gonna take Ribeiro. I wouldn't touch this fight, but I think I'm gonna take Ribeiro. I think he's a good underdog here because of his explosiveness. He just seems like he wants to win more. He does a lot of crazy stuff out there. And Machado is coming down a weight class. Typically when you come down, guys don't do as well. He's slower. He's more plodding. Ribeiro's got better submissions. So let's go with Ribeiro, man. Fuck it, right? Pretty high on that dog, actually. Another dog I'm high on, Derek Lewis. I am taking Derek Lewis. I have not been impressed with Denise. Dude can't wrestle. He's looking like Despage out there. Robellis Despage. Like, his wrestling is horrible. And Derek Lewis, just so you know, has fought. I mean, he has went for a takedown in like his last three or four fights, maybe 5. So he's being more patient. And even in his interview before this fight, he talked about being more patient, being more mature, not taking off the shorts. He wants to show like that more mature side of him. And that's what we need in this fight. He gets 1 or 2 takedowns. He's probably going to win by ground and pound. I think he's going to take him to ground and pound town, right? So for me, it's Derek Lewis, man. I hate to bet on him. He's a risky guy. We see a lot of mistakes out there from him lately. He's getting old. But he's been in there with way better guys than Denise, man. I think he's going to get KO on the ground. I think ground and pound, Derek Lewis by KO. And that's like plus 200. Also, if you got $1 or $2 or $5, put it on Derek Lewis by submission. Why not? It's plus 3,500. I would do it, but I think he's winning, man. I'm taking Derek Lewis here. And then we have Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas, Aaron Blanchfield. If you'd have told me this before her last fight, I would have said she's winning this fight all day. She's going to wrestle Rose and keep the pressure, and she can contend in the striking a little bit. But no, Rose is going to win, y'all, because she couldn't get down Manon Farrow. So if you can't take her down, how well are you taking down Rose? And Rose is crafty. Anybody you pick here, I'm not mad at you. I'm probably going to avoid it altogether. But unfortunately, I have to take Rose. Y'all know I'm not a Rose fan, but I got to take the ball-headed hoe. From one ball-headed hoe to another. So we're going to go with Rose here. And the main event, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking Brandon Moreno. He's back, he's motivated, and he's a better fighter than Albazi has ever been. But I'm worried, and I'm not confident in that, because Albazi is young and hungry, and he does have skills. Anybody you take here is a good play. So So yeah, I'm gonna take Brandon Moreno, but it is tentatively. I'm not that confident in this fight in him. The reason is because they both had a lot of time off, so we don't know how they're gonna look. Is Brandon Moreno still, fighting like a young, hungry dude out there? Because sometimes I'm not sure in his latest performances. And Amir Albazi, I thought he lost to Kai Kara France. I didn't think he won that fight. I'm not really that impressed with the dude. But he's younger, he's hungry. But he's also had some time off. So I'm going to take Brandon Moreno, but I really think that there's a strong possibility he doesn't win as well. And if you like the plus money, go for that. The plus money is on Albazi. I'm actually more confident in Lewis than I am in Brandon Moreno. So, I don't want to have this fight go on and then me tell you, oh, I knew all the whole time, or whatever. I think it's an even match fight. But if you'd have told me 2 years ago that Brandon Moreno was going to fight Albazi, I would have picked Brandon Moreno, and I wouldn't even thought about it. It's just that sure. But at this stage of the game, it's hard to tell. So I am taking Brandon Moreno. Won't be putting a lot of bets on him, but he's my pick. So take that for what you will. And yeah, that's it, guys. A couple parlays I'm thinking about. I've already put those up. I'm having some delays, obviously physically, and I'm having some delays with the internet today. So things are a little bit behind, a little bit mixed up. So I'll just read these off to you since I got them already. I like Jourdain and Gibson. I think that's a good two-legger. You can't go wrong with it. If you want, I also like Zalal and Jasudavicius. I think those four are my most confident picks. If you want to put all four together, hey, go ahead and get you some. Also, don't be afraid to put a Derek Lewis underdog in one of those two-leggers. You could do that. Garrett Armfield, I think he's live. He's a good underdog if you want to add him to one of those two-leggers that I just mentioned. Yeah, so let's say like Jourdain, Gibson, Lewis, Zalal, Jasudavicius, Armfield, or mix and match, something like that. That's what I'm going to be rocking with today. As for parlays, we're going to see at least one or two subs, man. We've got to. So I think having a Horth by sub at plus 650 is great. Zalal, who's been submitting everybody lately. Zalal at plus 800, plus 700. That's a pretty good market value for a guy who's got two subs in his last two fights. So I think him by sub at plus money is great. Lewis by TKO. Anytime you can find a Lewis by TKO prop that's plus money at 175 or plus money at all, it's worth a squeeze. So I would put something on that. Also, 3,500 is Lewis by submission. That's worth $1, man. For real, that's worth $1. You're gonna walk by the street and give it to some bum who don't want to go to work or something today. Put it in your pocket and put it on that, man, and then give him $2 next time you see him if you win, right? I think that's a great little sprinkle right there. You never know. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. And then I like Zalal and Shore to go under 2.5. Normally you're looking at this fight, you think it's going to go to decision and be Zalal. Cool. But if he's going to get that submission prop, if he's going to get a finish, he's going to get it before the first two and a half rounds, right? So I think that's live as well. So we got under 2.5 at plus 230 for Zalal and Shore. Worth a shot. So they can't all be decisions, right? So those are my props. That's my bets. And that's what I got for y'all. Until I see you next time, I appreciate the love, appreciate the discourse, appreciate the hate. Let's get paid. Toodles.